Hello, it's IFBB Pro, Greg Doucette, also a coach of competitive bodybuilders, bikini competitors, and just people looking to lose weight. So today the topic is, how long does it take to kick in the SARMS or steroids that you're taking? A lot of people have been asking me these questions. How long is it going to take to kick in? How long before I feel it? So I'm going to ask and answer all those questions today. So before I get into that, I just want to point out I'm not a doctor and I'm not telling you to break the law. Don't break the law. Depending on the country you're in, follow the rules of your country. All right. So I'll start with the fastest and I'll go kind of in order from there. So the fastest, which I've taken myself, is my Bolarone. It was called Kick-Ass-A-Ball. It had a cool name. This was a nasal sniff type inhaler. So you literally would like go and sniff in this steroid, okay? In like several minutes, I could feel this. So I would do that before the gym and like go for a crazy workout. Like if I had to like set a record or something on that day, and it would make me go like super hard and like so much energy. So that would be the fastest, okay? So that's like a right away type thing. Okay, it's not very healthy and not really good for you, but I did use that in the past. Next, an injectable, like a water-based injectable, like test suspension, which I've also used many times. And this I would take about 30 minutes before I go to the gym, do a shot, and boom, you feel it right away. Like 30 minutes and you go to the gym and you're like noticeably better. Your sex drive would go up right away. I've started a cycle like this before. So natural, boom, not natural. And go to the gym and you have a great workout and you can really feel it right away. Not something like days, no, right away. Next, I have oral steroids. They would vary, and they vary based on the time to get to peak concentrations as well as the half-life. So every product that you take has a certain amount of time that it takes to reach peak concentrations. So you might have noticed, if you chug a beer, you're not drunk in like 5 seconds. It takes time to get into your body and work its way through. It also takes time to exit the body. So you might get drunk for a while and then you're sober the next day. Same with steroids. So some of the oral steroids are really fast. So like D-Ball and Halo, you're going to feel it right away. So in general, all oral steroids, you're going to feel it in like an hour or maybe 2 hours. You're going to feel it right away. Okay? So somebody was like, you know, I'm taking T-Ball, I'm taking Anavar, I'm taking Winnie, whatever ones they list. How many days before I feel it? I'm like, 1 hour. And they're like, well, no, I mean, how long before I can feel it? I'm like, 1 hour. And they don't believe me. And I'm like, that's how long it takes. Okay? So I took Anavar for 2 days. And the first day I took it, probably 40 minutes after taking it, I could tell, my veins were popping out more without like being pumped. I'll go to the gym and feel it, like I'm doing the lat pull downs and I'm like, oh, I can probably get 2 more reps, and then I do like 5 more reps because like the endurance is just there. It's crazy. It's like noticeably better, okay? So only takes a very short period of time, your oral steroids. Some of them are going to be maybe a couple hours and some are only going to be an hour. So yeah, it's right away. Don't be like, oh, it's going to take me a week, or it takes a week and you feel it. It's like after a week, you feel it more, or you're stronger, but it's not like it's not working right away. It's working right away. It's just, if say you're going to take D-Ball and you're gaining 10 pounds in 10 weeks. In the first week, say you gain 1 pound every week. Well, on day 1, you're already stronger. On day 1, you're already going to get a difference. You're going to get a bigger pump and all that. After a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, you're going to notice it more because you're so much bigger in comparison. Maybe you're benching 300 and now you're benching 350. So you notice it a lot. But it's not like it didn't help day 1. Day 1, you benched 301 pounds instead of 300. So it helped. It helped 0.5%, say. So it's already working right away. Next, after this would be SARMS. SARMS in general have longer half-lives. So like a day, most of them, for example. So you're going to feel it in several hours. So not right away, but several hours. So if you took like Rad 140 or Osterine in the morning and you go work out right off in the morning, you probably won't notice it, but you will by the evening. Okay, so that's just the difference there. It's got a longer half-life. It takes longer to get in your system. And just on a side note, that means that with SARMS, you can typically get away with dosing it once a day, but oral steroids, you pretty much always have to do them more than once a day. People that say, oh, you don't need to, it's got a half-life of 8 or 9 hours, you don't need to, that's BS. You need to, okay? You can choose to do what you want. You can take Anavar once a week if you want, but it's not the right way to do it. Just think of the half-life. If it's a half-life of 8 hours and you only take it once a day, well, by 16 hours, you only have a quarter of it left. So if you did 100 milligrams, you only have 25 milligrams left. Versus we inject steroids, say it's got a half-life of 5 days, and we're like, oh, you have to inject it twice a week. It's like the half-life's 5 days. If the half-life is 5 days, well, you don't have to inject it for 5 days, really. If the half-life is 8 hours, well, then maybe do it every 8 hours. So something like D-ball with a half-life of 4 hours, you should be doing it 3 times a day at least. Like you really need to do it more often. So most people don't do they don't take their orals often enough. And especially women who don't want side effects, you need to split out these doses. And I always say, when in doubt, spread it out. So if you're not sure how often to take it, spread it out. It can't hurt. Next, short ester injections. So short esters would be like Test Prop and Test Ace, Trenace. Anything that says Ace at the end or a Prop, okay? Like NPP would be like the shorter one, not Deca, the longer one. Short. These ones you're going to feel in like, say, a day. So they're slower, but you're going to feel it by a day for sure, okay? It's not going to be a week still. It's not going to be 3 weeks. So you do Test Prop this morning. Tomorrow morning, you're going to feel it. You're probably going to wake up with an erection, for example. It's going to make a difference. You might be hornier by the evening even, okay? So it depends on the person still. And then last, we have long-ester testosterones and other drugs like EQ and DECA and any steroid you can name that has like an enanthate or cypionate, those ones. These you're going to feel in a few days. So all the time, people will say, "How many weeks does it take to take it? How many weeks does it take to kick in?" It's not weeks, it's days. When people say how many weeks does it take to kick in, I really hope they mean how many weeks before it peaks. Because when you do a shot, say your test levels are here and you do a shot, it goes up. Then it goes down a little bit, but then you do another shot, it goes up even higher. Then it goes down a bit. Then you do another shot, it goes up even higher. So you can see by the third shot, rather than being here, you're way up to there. So for like 6 weeks, it's gonna go up higher and higher and higher. Doesn't mean that you didn't feel it like crazy in the first week. And I know this for a fact because when I do my HRT and I go to the doctor and do a blood work, they tell you to do it like 3 days after the shot to see what it is at its peak. So the doctors are telling me literally in about 3 days this is going to peak in your body. So you do a shot of Test E, which is what the HRT is for me, and 3 days later it's peaking. So there's no way you don't feel it. If it's peaked, it's peaked. It's like if you drink a beer in an hour, you feel it. It's peaked, you're feeling it. You're getting drunk, okay? That's the same thing. So it doesn't take stupid, silly, crazy amounts of time to work, okay? Believe me, there's super long esters like undecanate for, I hope I pronounce it right. It doesn't matter. You could do that shot like every 10 to 14 days. That one's going to take even longer to kick in. But certainly by a week, you're going to be feeling it for sure, okay? So don't expect steroids to take a long time. In general, I'm saying it's way shorter than you think. Some factors that make some people feel it more than others, okay? Genetics. We're all born different. I could have a twin brother and he could do the same thing as me. He's like a fraternal twin. And maybe he feels it faster or I do faster. Just differences in us, okay? Girls and guys, differences. Another factor. empty stomach. So obviously, empty stomach, if you just ate a huge meal and you swallow D-ball, well, it's sitting at the top of your stomach. It's going to take time to absorb. If you're empty, boom, absorb faster. Just think, alcohol, if you have a full stomach, it takes longer to get in. So that's going to be a huge factor. So depending if you're an empty stomach or not. Next, how in tune you are with your body. I am very, in tune with my body. I am. So if I take something, I know I take something. Other people, they don't know. If I drink a cup of coffee, I'm like, holy, I took a cup of coffee. I have lots of energy now. If I take a small amount of a pre-workout, I really feel it. Other people, I can go to bed. I just took caffeine. I don't know. drank 3 cups of coffee. I don't feel it. Different genetics, okay? Body factors. If you're lean, if you have I'm moderately lean. If you're moderately lean and you take Anavar and you have some veins, you're going to see them more. But if you're a fat ass and you take steroids, you're covered in a layer of layers of stuff and you can't see what's going on under there. So you're not going to notice it. You just can't see it. It'd be like getting a hard-on. Your girlfriend doesn't see it if it's covered in jeans and a snowsuit, but if you're naked, it's pretty obvious. So just think of that. When you are ripped to shreds, any little change is like, woof, you see it right away. Huge factor. Your size, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds. A 100-pound person, a 200-pound person, and take the same thing. More muscle, you need more to feel it. So you're going to have a different amount of feeling based on how big you are. Okay, more muscle people need more to feel it. Another effect, the dose. If you take 10 milligrams of VAR, it might not be enough for you to notice it. I for sure would notice 10 milligrams. You might not. 20 milligrams of VAR, and it's like night and day in my training. Okay, other people, they take 60 milligrams and go on there, I think I felt it, and it's like, they just don't know. They're just not in tune with their body. Okay. Also, if you're natural or not, this is huge. If you're natural and you take 20 milligrams of Anavar, or you do a shot of test suspension, or snort some Mibolerone, or takes whatever, check drops, and whatever you take in, it's like, holy shit, your body just got into something. Compare it to this. You've never smoked weed in your life, and you do a bong, and boom, and you're in a mess in 5 minutes versus the guy that does it every single day and does it, and he's like, I'm a little bit high, I don't know. Huge factor, okay? So if you're already on test and trend and you throw in some Anavar, you're not going to notice it as much as if you're on nothing and do it. Hope that makes sense. So the whole notion that it takes several weeks to kick in is bullshit. It kicks in right away, essentially, unless it's a long-estered injectable, then it's days. But it's not weeks and it's not months. So hope you can remember that. What you would notice when you do take something, so in case you're like, well, how do I know if I feel VAR? Your strength is going to go up. Boom, you're stronger. Your stamina is improved, so you can go longer, okay? Your endurance is up. You just have better endurance. It feels like the cardio is not as hard even. Your pumps go up. It's like you weightlift, you do 5 sets, and you look in the mirror and you're like, holy shit, what's going on? So the difference from when you walk in the gym to when you leave, it's more dramatic. Your vascularity is improved, the fullness of the muscle. There's more water and more glycogen. It's popping out of you. It looks like you're a bodybuilder, I guess. It just gives you that crazy full 3D looking look. And so that pretty much covers this topic. Hope it made sense. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, before I go, subscribe and like the video if you liked it. That I think helps. I don't know if it does or not, but I've seen other videos where they say to do that. So like my stuff, subscribe. That's awesome.